And we now have a more detailed timeline of the events in Uvalde. DPS did release the agency's breakdown of what happened and when. KENS 5's Nicole Kahn takes us through it. Nicole.
Audrey, the DPS timeline shows it took 1 hour and 14 minutes from the time police entered the building until the shooter was killed. It's the most complete picture of what has happened that we have so far. It was created using footage from the funeral home, school surveillance video, phone recordings, and body camera footage. Let's take a look. 11:29, a teacher calls 911 and reports a man with a gun. 3 minutes later, the shooter enters the building. 3 Uvalde police officers enter the building with 2 rifles 3 minutes after the shooter goes in. 1 minute later, Uvalde CISD Chief Pete Arredondo arrives. At 11:37, the shooter fires at and injures 2 officers who approach the classroom doors. 2 minutes later, Chief Arredondo calls the Uvalde Police Department landline. A transcript shows he said, "We don't have enough firepower right now. It's all pistol," and he has an AR-15. This, despite 2 rifles arriving 5 minutes earlier. At 11:41, officers say they believe the shooter is barricaded in the classroom. 911 dispatch asks if the classroom door is locked, and the reply from a Uvalde police officer is not sure. The school district officer married to one of the teachers tells officer his wife is shot 7 minutes later. 2 minutes after that, an unknown officer says chief is in charge right now. Hold on. It does not say who the chief is. At 11:52, the first shield of 4 arrives. 1 minute later, a DPS special agent says if kids are in the classroom, they just need to go in. 3 minutes after that, the DPS special agent says again, they need to go in. An unknown officer replies, whoever is in charge determines that. Another 2 minutes later, the DPS special agent says for a third time, they should probably go in. At 12:03, the first student 911 call is made. A few minutes later, a search for a master key to the room begins. 14 minutes after that, Chief Arredondo says, tell them to wait. No one comes in. Chief Arredondo then says, we've lost 2 kids. 6 minutes later. At 12:24, Chief Arredondo tries to talk to the shooter. At 12:27, Chief Arredondo says, people are going to ask why we're taking so long. He then adds a minute later, the master keys don't work. 3 minutes later, the forced entry tool arrives, and at 12:50, officers enter the classroom and kill the shooter. This timeline, it still leaves a lot of questions unanswered. It is unclear if the classroom door was locked and if anyone actually tested it. Chief Arredondo has said previously he was not in charge, but some of the statements he made show he was issuing orders. What we showed you was a very shortened version of that timeline. You can see the full one at KENS5.com. Nicole Kahn, KENS 5.